just gonna test the audio really quick. I'll just have you say a few things, and that way I can make sure it sounds good.
Sounds good.
Alright, I'm just gonna test the audio really quick.
Right now?
I'll just have you say a few things, and that way I can make sure it sounds good. Let's see.
Sounds good.
Alright, I think it sounds good for the most part. Cool. Alright, I'm gonna pause that. Okay, cool. Alright, we'll just wait, if not necessarily a couple minutes, but we'll just kind of just hang tight for now. But
okay.
Yeah, do you want me to send you the list of questions I was going to ask you? Or do you just want me to ask them just blindly?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Oh yeah, no problem. Do you want me to send you the list of questions in the chat? That way you can see what I'm about to ask you and things like that.
No, that's fine. You can just go ahead and ask him.
Okay, cool. All right, yeah, we'll go ahead and get started tonight. Tonight we have a super special guest, a personal favorite narrator of mine. We have Being Scared. Thank you so much for being on tonight.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for the invitation.
Of course. Yeah, so this is, I've been a fan of yours for quite some time. So this is quite surreal. Got a lot of great questions for you, specifically, just because you have a lot of fun things coming up. Before we get into any questions, though, do you have anything fun planned for Halloween?
Yeah, tomorrow I'm hosting a costume party at the Sonoma Community Center, which is where a portion of my favorite horror movie, Scream, was filmed at. Okay,
nice. I did notice quite some time ago you had Jamie Foxx on and you did an interview with that. That was quite fun. How were you able to get a hold of him?
You mean Jamie Kennedy?
Oh, sorry. Did I say Jamie Foxx? Jamie Kennedy. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, Jamie Kennedy. Yeah, that was when I interviewed him on my channel, that was a couple years ago. Just because I've always been a huge fan of Scream, and I don't know. I got it in my head where I wanted to do an interview and ask him some questions, and I was able to make that happen. And yeah, it just worked out like that.
That's awesome. Yeah, so yeah, that's really cool. Did you ever watch the Jamie Kennedy Experiment that he was in?
I did actually. Yeah, I was a big fan of that show.
Yeah, I thought that was quite awesome. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Scream series. Have you seen the most recent one?
Oh yeah, many times.
Nice. Yeah, I watched that one on the cruise. On a cruise I was on, we watched it in a hot tub. It was a lot of fun. Cool. Yeah, we'll just kind of go ahead and hop in it here. I know we're a little pressed for time, but yeah, we'll just kind of hop in it here. So, first question for you is, what inspired your YouTube channel?
Mr. Nightmare definitely is the person who inspired me to create my channel. When he hit 1 million subscribers, he released a video of him essentially just thanking everybody for, subscribing. And I was actually, when I watched that video, I was managing a Domino's in my hometown. And I was like waiting for my shift to start, and I was just getting ready to leave my house to go to work. And I was listening to that video, and in that video, he said, if you think it would be fun to do this, just stop thinking about it, just do it. And I really took that to heart, and that night when I got home from my shift at Domino's, I created my channel.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Yeah, I worked in the fast food industry, and I kind of a similar origin with that, but it was with Let's Read. I remember my coworker talking about that, but that's really cool. Yeah, he's now at what, like, he's at a couple of million now. But that's really cool. How long ago was that?
Oh, that was a little over 6 years ago.
Okay, awesome. What inspired your channel's name?
Being Scared. When I was 18, so many years ago, mm-hmm. I don't know. It's kind of a funny story. The term being scared has been in my head since I was 18 for the last almost 20 years. Oh, wow. I remember telling my ex-girlfriend that someday I wanted to create movies, and I really wanted to create a movie that was like an anthology, like the Twilight Zone, but horror.
Okay.
And I mean, I know Twilight Zone has some horror elements as well, but I just wanted it to be separate stories, short stories, all kind of clumped together in one movie. And I wanted them all. I had them all written out, and I had dreams of just making that movie someday. And I told her that I wanted to just call it Being Scared, just that simple feeling of being scared, you know.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I think it's a great a name. It really captures kind of what you're going for. You have a very unique channel profile picture. What has inspired you to go with that?
That one. So years ago when I created my channel, I was looking for something cool. I couldn't tell you what I was searching for on Google Images. I can't remember what I was searching for, but I was just scrolling through page after page of images of like cool skeletons and things like that. And I eventually saw this picture of this skeleton, and it was actually like a deviant art illustration of a character from a popular video game, and I can't remember the name of it, and I'm really upset with myself right now because I've known what it is for a long time. So it was a character from a video game, and I took that image, and I just, without asking anyone's permission, because I didn't really understand how things were done back then.
Right.
I just took that image and used it, and then I later figured out people commenting like, "Hey, that's this person from this video game," and I was like, "Oh, I didn't even realize that." So after a while, I got kind of tired of people telling me that my profile picture was this character. So I asked Yeah Man TV.
Oh yeah.
He's my go-to artist that I've been using for years. He's a great guy. I asked him if he would kind of recreate it and just kind of turn it into my own thing and take away the features that made that character, but kind of take some of it and make it my own thing. So that's what it was inspired by, I guess you could say.
Okay, cool. I've noticed throughout the history of your channel, you went through a couple of different types of videos in terms of some had intros, some didn't have intros. What ultimately inspired you to eliminate the intro and then also do your famous 3 ads?
What inspired me to eliminate the intro? I've always been, in my opinion, one of my biggest goals was trying to maximize viewers and getting and the time that they spend watching my videos. And in my opinion, an intro is just extra time that they have to potentially change their mind about watching your video. So I used to have intros. I tried different ones. Some of them were short, some of them were longer, and I eventually just decided I don't feel it's necessary for my channel. I understand why people do them. They're cool. But in my opinion, it's just giving people time to change their mind and back out of your video. So I used to just try to get into the stories as quickly as possible and just start talking. And that's why. The 3 ads thing, I actually recommend any narrators that to do the same thing, actually, because when you go onto your YouTube studio and you look at your average view time for your entire channel, you can see how long the average viewer will watch your video, across your entire channel. And that time, I would always have ads that were placed like at the end of the video, and the average most of the people that watch my videos are not even getting to that ad. So I decided that I wanted to kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I was also getting people commenting all the time saying that the ads towards the end of my videos were waking them up, because a lot of people, most of the people that watch my videos actually use them to sleep, or fall asleep, or relax or something. So I decided to just create the 3 ad thing at the beginning and just make it clear, after the first 3 stories, there's going to be 3 ads, but then no more after that. And so the reason why is because most people will see those 3 ads, so it turns into more revenue for myself and also gets them out of the way for people that are trying to sleep.
Okay, nice. I feel like you approach your channel more in like a scientific way. I feel like you have, like you mentioned, the watch time, the intro thing, the 3 ads. You've had your channel for a couple of years now. Do you feel like you look at it more in a scientific way, or how do you view your channel?
I'm always just trying to think outside of the box, to be honest.
Okay.
That stuff that I just talked about is really just, I was trying to think of ways to make it better, to make it a better experience for the viewer, and also increase the revenue that I was making, because it is my full-time job.
Nice. I feel like when it comes to someone that starts new things, I feel like you're always at the forefront with that. We have on Twitter, we have that big group chat with all the narrators, and that you were the host of that. I feel like you're kind of like everyone's mentor to some degree. I feel like everyone I've ever talked to, especially these past couple of nights with all my different live streams, everyone has at least mentioned you every night.
Really?
Yeah, in terms of people that have either motivated them or people that have been directly impacted by your assistance or by something that you've done.
Wow, that is that's bananas. That I don't even know what to say about that. That's awesome.
Yeah, that was.
Thank you for telling me that.
Oh, for sure. I asked someone the other night. His name is Booze and Booze. I think he was on. You were made an appearance on his channel a couple maybe a week or 2 ago. But he said, I asked him, when would you consider yourself successful? And he actually shared something I thought was quite interesting. He's like, as soon as I can make it on the Chilling app, that's when I know I'm successful.
Oh, man.
So let me ask you that. So what do you think about that?
That's definitely a compliment. I love that guy. I think he's awesome.
Oh yeah, he's so considerate. He's got a great personality. And the first thing he asked me is like, hey, what's your view on cursing and stuff? I was like, well, I typically don't, but be yourself. And he was so considerate. You didn't even drop one curse word. So I'm really appreciative of that guy. He's really cool. Yeah,
he's a class act. He's a stand-up fellow. Yeah. He's a very mature narrator, and that comes out in the things that he says and stuff, and I really like him. He's an awesome guy.
Yeah. So that kind of segues us into your app, which is hugely successful. All the narrators I've talked to, they have the app. Just about anyone that is a horror fan has the app. I watch so many different other channels, and I see oftentimes, especially Let's Read, he is constantly plugging your app. Would you consider your app successful?
Yes and no. It's been successful since we launched it, which was in April of last year. We've been growing every month since then. Mm-hmm. It's I don't know. It's kind of I have a mixed answer there. I wouldn't say, no, it's not where we want it to be, but it's growing. So, that's the best answer I can come up with right now.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Just as a consumer standpoint, I think it's a great idea. I remember when it first came out, I was mad actually, because I was like, I cannot believe I did not think of this first. I'm like, this is such a great idea. You have all the different ambient sound modes, and then you have all those cool narrators too. And then you also have like exclusive content on there, which I just think is phenomenal. So you mentioned something interesting. So you mentioned it is, but it isn't successful at the same time. Where do you want it to be?
Well, I didn't want to. First of all, I want to make it clear that I don't want to sound ungrateful for anything that I have with Chilling. It's been an incredible journey so far. Mm-hmm. It's been very stressful. It's definitely made a lot of my hair turn gray, but it's also it's been very fulfilling, and it's just a roller coaster. It's just a ride. Where do I want it to be? Well, Chilling 2.0 is coming out next year in the spring, and that's actually going to have video content, horror movies and TV shows and originals.
Wow.
And so we're making deals with directors and producers, and it's bananas. I swear it's crazy. So that's where I wanted to be. I wanted to get to Chilling 2.0 and become a legit platform where horror lovers like me and you can go and actually not just take all of this content in, scary stories and horror movies, but talk to people at the same time.
Wow. That sounds, I can't even imagine. Number one, first of all, you have a massive channel, which, you know, you're constantly uploading your the Rain series, you know, I think you're at like a volume 100 almost.
Almost.
Yeah. You have that going on full time. You also have this. I can't imagine what kind of time management nightmare you have to deal with, you know, these two hugely successful things going on at the same time.
Yeah, it's tricky for sure. It's I have to be very careful, and it's very tiring. I'm constantly busy.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Well, and then another thing too, because I follow you on just about every social media platform that you're on. I noticed on Twitter you got a shout out on one of the news stations, which I think is way cool.
Yeah. So Fox 39 in Illinois, in a town in Illinois, they touched on Chilling in a segment today, just because of Halloween and stuff, and yeah, that was also pretty crazy. So I didn't really see that one coming. That was pretty cool.
That's really cool. Well, let me ask you this: for the upcoming narrators that want to be on the app, what are you looking for in terms of, you know, potential new talents that you would want to bring on? You know, what kind of process would that be?
There isn't an actual you know, like a step 1, step 2 kind of a thing for this right now. Right now, what we've really been doing is just trying to bring people on that our users are requesting highly.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody that's on there, all the YouTubers that are on there have been requested by a lot of people many, many times. And so when they get requested enough, that's when we feel the need to reach out to them and say, hey, your people want you on here. How would you feel about joining? However, it's not always going to be like that. I do someday want to make it easier for other people to get on there. For an example, Booze and Booze. I think he's an awesome narrator, and you said that he made a comment about wanting to join, and I would love to have him on there. It's just a matter of when and when will it make sense, kind of a thing.
Right. No, I hear you. I think just about anyone in their logical mind want to become a part of that app. Have you ever, just curious, and you don't have to name names, but have you ever reached out to anyone that said they didn't want to be on your app?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah, many people. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to name any names, but we've reached out to many people that were not interested and many people that didn't respond at all.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So, but we don't hold any grudges or have any hard feelings towards anybody. People aren't interested, and that's, you know, they're not interested. It's totally their choice. So
yeah. Well, that's a very mature response to that. I share the same sentiment. That's awesome. Well, let me ask you this. So I had Mortis Media on my first night of the live streams, which, again, another top-notch narrator, another very considerate person, which actually really caught me by surprise. Not that I didn't think he wasn't considerate, but he's also extremely humble. And he's also coming out with an app in a couple of months. I'm not quite sure what his timeline is. And I asked him about your app, and I'm like, well, what's going on with that? And so I'll let you kind of, you know, fill in any blanks or anything, but he told me that you guys are quite good friends. Do you want to elaborate on anything with that?
Oh yes, he's definitely one of my best friends in the community. I don't talk to him as much as I used to, which sucks. I wish we could talk more, but we both just have a lot going on.
Right.
Yeah, his app is actually released already. It's been out for quite some time. It's just, as far as I know, it just features him, and that it's going well. It's pretty cool. I reached out to him. I can't remember the timeline. But I reached out to him to let him know that I was working on an app too. After I found out he was working on an app, and I just couldn't believe it. because him and I have been really good friends since pretty much we started. He started before me, so when he reached out to me, out of the kindness of his heart, just kind of trying to give smaller YouTubers some exposure. I think I had like 100 subscribers when he reached out to me, and he had like 5,000.
Oh wow!
And so that to me was like Mr. Nightmare reaching out to me or you right now. It was just blew my mind. And we became friends, close friends ever since then. He's definitely one of the nicest, greatest guys that I've met.
Oh yeah,
doing that.
He's another stand-up guy, I think, for sure. A couple of years ago, WatchMojo came out with a top 10 narrator list, and it featured you on there. What were your thoughts on that?
Oh, the top 10, the WatchMojo.
Yeah.
I was very humbled and honored to be on that list. However, I will keep it real and be honest. That list happened because of me.
Really?
Yeah, I reached out to, oh man, I feel terrible. I can't remember her name. The WatchMojo lady, like
right.
that main lady with that voice that everybody knows.
Yeah.
I reached out to her on Twitter, I think it was, and told her it would be cool. This would be a cool WatchMojo list. And she took it seriously and did it, and it blew my mind. I couldn't believe she did. And she asked me what list I would create for the top 10. So naturally, of course, I put myself on that list.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't blame you. That's awesome.
Yeah, but no, to be perfectly honest, I think it's a good list. I think the top two, Mr. Nightmare, number 1 is definitely accurate. Number 2, Corpse Husband. And there's a lot of people that deserve to be on that list. I'm not going to necessarily say that I think that I deserve to be in the top 10. There's definitely some people that were left out that deserve to be on that list that I think I would put above myself as well.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah, I talked to. I was really hoping we had just had a little bit of a scheduling conflict with Swamp Dweller, but yeah, that was really interesting to see. I mean, to be honest with you, I wasn't surprised at all to see you on there. I thought you were going to be maybe top 3. I can't remember the specific order, but to have you on there, let's read. I was like, oh, these are no-brainers. I was surprised. I thought I was going to see Dark Somnium on there. I thought I was going to see maybe Mortis Media. I mean, those are just some of the people I watch. But no, I think you hit the nail on the head. And that's actually really funny. I'm glad I asked you that question. That's really cool. Let me see here. We'll kind of swing it back a little bit about your channel. This is kind of a weird question, but I kind of have to ask it just because I think it's interesting. Do you consider yourself or your channel famous?
I'm sorry, what was that?
No, you're good. Do you consider yourself or your channel famous?
No. No, I don't.
Okay. I think that's kind of a weird. I feel like I mean, to us and to fans in the community, that's obviously going to be the opposite. But I definitely think.
I think, yeah, like within the horror narration community, I would think that I'm known. I wouldn't say famous. I'm definitely nowhere near like Mr. Nightmare or somebody recognizing me on the street or something like that. Okay. No, nowhere near anything like that.
Well, let me ask you this: has anyone ever recognized your voice in real life?
No.
Really?
No.
Wow.
No.
Well, let me ask you: have you like ever? So you said people haven't ever come up to you in the street or anything like that. You haven't like met a fan or anything like that before?
I think that I've met a handful of people that have said that they know someone that knows somebody that's a fan or something, but I mean, who knows? You know what I mean? Like, I've never met somebody in person who's like, oh my gosh, I'm a fan of your channel. It's so crazy that I'm meeting you right now. That's never happened.
Oh wow,
but
that's crazy.
Like I think my wife said that she knew somebody at work who said that that they listened to me or their significant other listened to me or something like that. You know.
Oh wow. Interesting. Well, let me ask you this. At what point in your YouTube career did you realize that you had a gift?
A gift?
and and you have to realize you're talking like I'm a super fan. Like I have the app. I'm this is so you might not see it as a gift, but like when you've listened to your channel for how many years, falling asleep to it, that's how I recognize it as I see it as a gift.
I appreciate the compliment. I would not say that it's a gift. I would say that I took it and ran with it and tried to make it as good as I can, and I'm still doing that every day. And the reason why I wouldn't call it a gift is because I wouldn't want anybody listening to think, well, he's got a gift, so that's why he did it, and he's got a gift, so I'm not going to bother. I want everybody to realize that they can do it too. It's some people are better narrators than others.
Mm-hmm.
By no means do I honestly, I can't stand the sound of my own voice. When I hear my own videos, I'm like,
right? Really?
I wish I sounded more like Corpse Husband or Joel, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say it's a gift, but I really do recognize the compliments and I appreciate that. But I want to make it clear, everybody can do this. Doesn't matter what your voice sounds like, you can do it.
Wow. And I think you bring up a good point, and I think I used the wrong word. I wouldn't, gift, this isn't something definitely to just given to you. This is clearly, I've watched, I went back and watched your first video and all the way through, and you have definitely crafted and worked on this. It's definitely more of a talent, I would say. Because I remember my first video, I just reading like I normally read, like didn't change anything. I'm just like, wow, this is rough. But I mean, I feel like you really capture what just the scariness of the story with your voice, and you also provide a really good voice acting.
Thank you.
Aspect to it, which I think is huge. There'll be some channels out there where I feel like you talked about having the perfect voice, where I feel like some people get away with having that, but I think you capture both, not just the good voice, but also you definitely have something where you have a great flow to your stories. You have like other things that go into it that people don't initially would realize that that's something that has to go into a story.
Yeah, well, thank you for saying that. I appreciate that.
Of course. So on your banner, or I'm trying to think where I see it, but you title yourself the first person to come up with the rain stories, right? Or the scary stories told in the rain.
Yes.
What inspired you to come up with that long volume?
So that happened in October of 2017. I was actually working on a collaboration video with my cousin Greg, who is also the narrator We Shouldn't Be Here.
Oh yeah.
And Mortis Media. We were doing a 3-way collaboration, and we were trying to figure out what kind of stories we were going to do. And so my cousin actually had the idea, let's do road trip stories. So that sounded cool, and me and Mort were like, yeah, let's do that. And for some reason, when I was making that video, normally what I was doing, what people were doing at the time was, you look for pictures to go along with the stories that you're doing. So that when, people can look at the screen and see a picture, like I pulled into a gas station and there's a gas station on the screen. So that's what I was used to doing. And I wanted to try something different. I wanted to actually put in some kind of video, like a cool video. And so I was thinking to myself, what would make a cool video for road trips? So first I was searching for like a car driving down like a dark, deserted dirt road or something like that. And I wasn't really finding anything that I wanted. And so I then eventually I can't remember what the light bulb that went off in my head, but I was thinking, what if I did just like rain falling on like a car windshield? Okay. And that was it. The rest is history. I created that video with just rain falling on a windshield, and people commented like crazy, and they were like, "This is really cool. I love the rain." And I remember the night vividly that I had the idea to turn it into a series called Scary Stories Told in the Rain. It was in late October, and mid-October, And I actually remember tossing and turning in bed, losing sleep because I had a feeling that it was going to turn into something special. That's a true story.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's quite incredible, and you're right. That's it definitely is. I feel like to some degree everyone has been inspired by that set of different videos. Does that bother you at all that people follow suit and kind of, you know, not copied but did similar things to that?
No, it doesn't anymore. It did before. Well, before I answer that in more depth, I do want to make it clear that before I created that series, there were people that created videos that had a lot of. There were people that created campfire videos, so scary stories. But no, and there was even, I think Mr. Nightmare even did a video, and a handful of other people did a video of like scary stories that took place during a thunderstorm. So it was the same but not, you know. They weren't intentionally creating scary stories told in the rain. There were stories of people that, like, scary things that happened to people during like a thunderstorm. So there were videos that came out before mine. People can argue. I mean, I've entered into kind of dramatic stuff with other people in the past over stuff like this on who created it first. Yeah, and back in when I first created that series and people started seeing how popular it was becoming and people started doing it, yes, it did bother me at first. But then I started to realize that it shouldn't bother me and I should take it as a compliment that I had the idea that other people think is cool, that people like it, and that they want to run with it as well. So now it doesn't bother me at all, and I encourage people to do it if they want to. I can pretty much guarantee any narrators that are listening, if you create a video like that, a longer video with rain or campfire, it's going to get more views than a shorter video. I can guarantee that.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I would have to back that up also. I feel like, well, it's interesting because you have Mr. Nightmare where he puts out 15 to 20 minutes of content, but for me, it's anything longer the better, it feels like. And I was inspired by you and Let's Read and a bunch of other narrators, where I feel like there's a lot of people out there, whether or not they like to admit this or not, that love to fall asleep to these kind of stories. Are you one of those people that like to fall asleep to these?
No.
Really?
No. Sorry. My throat's a little dry. Sorry. No, when I was a kid, I remember sometimes I would have trouble sleeping and my dad would put on like thunderstorm sounds, and the sound of rain has always been my favorite sound of all time. Okay. There's nothing that sounds better than falling rain, in my opinion. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And so I don't know. I feel like it was just, it's going to sound kind of corny. I feel like it was kind of my destiny to create that series. Because I've always really liked scary stories since I was a little boy. It's always been my favorite thing. And the sound of rain has always been my favorite sound. And yeah, Okay. No, but to answer your question, I'm sorry. No, I don't currently listen to anything like that to fall asleep. I'm blessed. I'm able to fall asleep without anything like that. Yeah, when I was a kid, rain definitely did help me sleep.
Wow. That's awesome. Do you feel like I mean, you kind of touched on it. It's something that kind of had to kind of happen with you with your past and everything like that. That's awesome. Yeah, you mentioned earlier one of your cousins, We Shouldn't Be Here, and then I believe you have another one also. I want to say it's Bad Vibes. Is that correct?
No, he's not my cousin. He's just a friend.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure what the affiliation was. I just remember back in the day there was some merch and it had you three, and then maybe Swamp Toiler was on there or anything like that.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, I've done some merch collaborations in the past. I think there's some still for sale in my Teespring store, or Spring. I guess it's now just called Spring. Where you can it's just me and We Shouldn't Be Here and Mort. And then I was a part of another merch collaboration with Swamp Dweller and Bad Vibes and Slumber Reads.
Okay, nice. Yeah, those are all great narrators. Yeah, definitely. If you're in the chat and you're a fan of any of these guys, definitely go snatch that up. That sounds awesome.
Absolutely.
Let me see here.
I would love that. Please go snatch that up.
Yeah, go snatch up all the merch you can. Yeah, let's see here. Let's see. Well, let me ask you this: what does your family think of your channel and your app?
Oh, they're very supportive. You know, it's funny because I'm sure that this has happened to you and other narrators. You know, out and about in the real world, somebody will ask you what you do, and you're like, I narrate scary stories, and they look at you like you have a crab crawling out of your nose or something.
Yeah.
But it's just it's funny. They're supportive, and especially because my channel, I was able to start doing my channel full time as a full time job, so they definitely take it seriously. But I would say when I first started doing my channel and it was just a hobby, there were some family members that kind of thought it was silly, I guess you could say, and they don't so much think it's silly anymore. So.
I can imagine. That's for sure. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, so I wouldn't say creep, but I definitely thoroughly checked out all of the different social medias that you're on, and I've seen numerous posts with friends and family just saying how proud they were of you, and I think that's really awesome. Me specifically, you don't have to comment on this if you don't want to, but it actually really bothered me I've only done this for a couple of years, but my spouse doesn't listen to scary stories. And I was like, oh, this is like something I do like on my free time, and like when I'm not at work, I'm doing this. That kind of bothers me. But then I was talking to a bunch of other narrators, and they're like, oh yeah, like I talk to them every day. Like they don't need to listen to my stuff. Do you ever have like a similar situation with that, or are they binge watching your stuff? Like what's going on with that?
My wife is not. No, she does not listen to scary stories. She actually does listen to audiobooks, like thrillers, like off of what's the website? Audible. Okay. So she's definitely a big fan of reading and of audiobooks. But no, she doesn't listen. Because she's married to me, she could never take me seriously as like narrating a scary story, you know. But no, she's never really been interested. However, before I started narrating, I was listening to Mr. Nightmare all the time, and that's of course how I got into it, because I was listening to him, and for a while I kind of made her listen to him.
Right.
So we'd be laying in bed, going to bed that night, going to sleep, and listening to him in the dark and getting all creeped out. I wouldn't necessarily say that she enjoyed it, but she allowed it to happen because she loves me. So, yeah, no, she's not really into it.
All right, well, I'm glad I'm not the only one. Well, that's super nice of her too, to entertain the idea and to at least listen to it. Because I mean, if you're not into it, like you're not into it, like that's just what it is. But I feel like on the flip side, like if you are into it, a guy like me, like you're crazy about it, and you can't, like every night I have different playlists I listen to, and you're on all of them, so
thank you.
That's just kind of how it goes, right? It's either all or nothing, I feel like.
Right.
Well, awesome. Well, I want to respect your time. I'll only keep you here for a couple more minutes because I know we gotta get you going here.
Well, I don't want you to feel rushed. I have about 22 more minutes.
Oh no! I'm just delighted you're on here. The fact that you're on here for 2 seconds, like I'm like this is successful. I'm great. I'm like this is a milestone for me. So, as well as all the other streams, I feel like I was able to have a lot of good talent on here and see a lot of diversity. But it's also surreal as well to well, it's weird because I feel like you've been a part of my life for a couple of years. And you only just met me, so it's kind of weird. I don't know, but yeah, I'm just super grateful you're here. If that makes sense.
If I can be honest, what I gather, it's the interviews that you're doing is called Hallowstream. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So do I gather that this is just kind of an October kind of a thing you have going on?
Yeah. So this isn't what my channel normally is. So I was originally going to do the 13 nights of Hallowstreams, because I was like, oh, this would be fun. Because I wanted to do something different. I was kind of I honestly thought to myself, I'm like, what would being scared do? That would be really cool. And I was like, well, he's always doing different fun things. So I'm like, I'll have 13 different narrators come on, and like that'd be so cool.
Well, I think that you should definitely turn it into an actual normal thing because you're good at it.
Oh, well, thank you. I just like talking to people and getting to know people. I appreciate that a lot. That means a lot.
Yeah, of course. Honestly, your questions are really good. I have not a single question of you asked that I think was not well thought out. You've asked some questions that surprised me, that really let me know that you've done your homework, and I appreciate that. And I really think that you should continue doing this, not just this month. Because yeah, like I said, you're good at it, and obviously you created it, so which means you have an interest in it. So
yeah, no, that's high praise. Yeah, that's something I'll definitely have to consider. Yeah, well, I think also it helps too because there's just so many different people out there, and I feel like having this hobby that connects all of us. I feel like I take more interest, and I have kind of more of a connection with that kind of stuff. So no, absolutely, I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, of course.
I remember, that brings me to another question. I remember my first video I watched of yours, and it was phenomenal. I remember the first story. The first story, I instantly subscribed, and it was one of the rain videos. I can't remember which one, because there's just so many I've saved. But it was about a child, and his brother went missing, and the parents got in a fight or something, and there was they could hear scratching in the walls. I don't know if you've told thousands of stories. I don't know if you can remember this, but later on, long story short, later on they end up finding all these bones under the house and things like that, and the brother's bones are amongst them. Well, which brings me to this question. You cover a lot of different stories in the Rain series that you have. Well, in all of your stories. How would you describe the mix between fiction and truthful stories? What do you do more true stories? Do you do more fictitious stories? Like, what's the blend that you have with your videos?
My aim is to definitely do true stories. Of course, there's no way of knowing if any of these stories are true because people have the capability of saying they're true when they're not.
Right.
But allegedly, they are true. That's definitely what I go for. I'm open-minded to doing fiction, and I have in the past, but I've noticed, and I'm sure other narrators would agree, for some reason, true stories are just more popular. That's what people want more. So,
okay.
That's what I go for.
Wow. So, has that ever presented an issue in terms of gathering stories, or do you just get flooded with stories?
I've done my best to create a system of receiving new stories. I have a Reddit, a subreddit where people can submit their stories, and like 6 months ago or so, or longer, I can't remember, I started actually paying for every story that's on my channel to create an incentive for people to give me more stories. So I'm trying to build a network like that of authors and people that will that want to get paid for their stories, that will submit them to my subreddit to be featured.
I think that's incredible, not just for you, but also for listeners, because not only do they get to be featured on your channel, but also they get a little bit of payout as well. And if I understand, it's $20 a story, which
correct.
Which that is quite a bit of money.
Yeah, it adds up.
Yeah.
Honestly, sometimes it adds up quite a bit more than I thought it was going to for any given video. And I'm like, wow, I just lost, not lost, but I just dropped $200 something on this stories, right. Hopefully the video does well. And, so, but yeah, it's what I think is right. I think that these people, they sit down at their keyboard and they're pouring their creativity or their experience into these stories, and I think that they deserve something for that, not just us narrators.
Wow, I think that's incredible. Wow, I think that's incredible, and I think that's another thing that future narrators should consider when that becomes something that they can definitely do. Well, let me ask you here. I have another question for you, and I doubt you're probably past this point in terms of your channel. But for the upcoming narrators, and myself included, they probably start getting sponsor contacts and emails about being sponsored. Are you sponsored by anyone? And if so, who? And what are your thoughts on being sponsored?
sponsors are great. I would definitely recommend to try not to, I mean, I know that a sponsor reaching out and you do your research and learn that they're actually legitimate. It's tempting pretty much no matter who it is, whether regardless if you're even interested in that sponsor or what they have to offer. You're going to pretend like you are and try to sell it to your audience. And I think it's obvious when the channel is actually interested in backing this product or whoever they are, their company. Mm-hmm. So my recommendation would be, don't be greedy. Seek if there's things in your life that you enjoy, seek out those companies and ask them, like, say, hey, I've got a YouTube channel and I'd like to sponsor you. Would you be willing to pay me this much to talk about because I actually do love it and I'll be able to sell it because I actually love it. That's what I would recommend doing. Of course, that's difficult and it's probably not going to work out most of the time, but you never know. So do I have any sponsors right now? Yes, I actually just did one for an app called Upside, which is truly the coolest company that's approached me in the past 6 years. And what it is just, I'm giving them a free promotion right now. Watch.
Kidding.
So you download the app called Upside, and you just get cash back on, like, when you go to the gas station and fill up your tank or get gas.
Oh, wow.
Or go into the convenience store and buy a hot dog or whatever. And also restaurants, like, when you use this app, when you get to the gas station, you check in, and then you use your debit card that you pair with the app, and then they, like, just put cash back into your account, and then you can transfer it back into your bank account, or you can turn it into, like, an e-gift card at, like, Starbucks or, like, a number of other places.
Wow.
So, like, it's so funny because I've actually explained it to family members. There's no downside, and it makes me laugh because it's called Upside, and that's why. Yeah. Because there's no downside to this app. It's just, you just get cash back for just going to get gas, which you have to do anyway. You might as well use it,
Wow. That was a great pitch.
So,
it makes sense. I mean, I feel like it's weird because I'm torn when I'm, like, trying to think of you in terms of, like, a scary narrator, but I feel like you're also, like, a businessman at heart as well. Like, you're not a hustler and like you're hustling people, but, like, you're always constantly hustling. You're working hard. You're doing one thing to another, and that's. Did you have, like, a past experience with sales or anything like that?
Yeah, I have. I wouldn't call myself a salesman. That's never really honestly been something that I enjoyed doing. Working for commission, that I really didn't like doing that kind of thing. But I've always, especially in the last 2 or 3 years, I have kind of an entrepreneurial kind of mindset on things. I'm just trying to think of new ways to make money and do cool things that I actually think would be useful and cool to other people. And this app is definitely one of them. And by the way, use promo code SCARED if you want an extra $5 on your first.
Oh. Not yet. There you go. Yeah.
$5,
Yeah.
But it's just always trying to think of ways to make money like everybody else,
Yeah. I feel like you take it to the next level. That's awesome. And as a consumer in the horror community, I'm very grateful for it as well, because you provide a lot of great ideas for the community through your channel and through your app. Last question, and I'll let you go. And this is my favorite question. I always save it towards the end. But non-politically, what is a conspiracy theory that you think to be true?
A conspiracy theory.
Yeah. And I can give some examples to kind of give you an idea. So my channel mainly comprises of me writing, fiction, scary stories and things like that. So I kind of let myself go down these rabbit holes to kind of get different inspiration for different stories. Whether it's, the Hollow Earth theory, or aliens working within the government, or, skinwalkers, wendigos, what have you. Is there anything that you legitimately think is trying to be covered up, or something that you think we should be worried about? Like horror-based kind of thing.
Horror-based?
Yeah.
I definitely think that aliens are real. I'm not sure if that is quite what you're talking about.
Oh, of course.
I know that there's recently been, like, I know that the government has pretty much admitted, like, they are real.
Yeah.
So I don't really know if it's really a conspiracy theory anymore, because they've just come out and said that they are. So other than that, to be perfectly honest, no, not really. I can't really think of anything. I can think of other things that are not horror, but I won't get into that because you specifically said nothing political or anything like that.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I appreciate that. Just that way, you know, I just want to make sure we just stay on track and with things like that. Yeah, and yeah, non-politically, I'm sure you and I could probably go on for days. I'm right with you with the alien thing. I actually have quite a lot of different experiences with that kind of thing. Growing up, I've seen what I've considered to be a UFO, but I've also had what I thought to be an abduction.
Really?
Yeah, a couple years ago, and it was quite interesting. It was I can share it with you if you're interested, but
yeah, go for it.
But it's I've shared it a couple of times on different things, but it was through the concept of a dream. So it was really, really weird because growing up I didn't really dream too much, just because I'm on different prescription medicines that kind of prevent me from dreaming. But I had this dream where it was a consistent dream, because normally dreams it's kind of just like a mess of just different events going on, but the whole dream was consistent. In the beginning of the dream, it was kind of like sleep paralysis. Have you ever experienced sleep paralysis?
I have not, no.
Okay. Well, it's kind of like that, where I woke up and I couldn't move, and I was first person, and this light shined in from outside, and the next thing I know, there were 3 grays standing at the foot of my bed. And I'm like, oh, this is interesting. And then the perspective shifts from first person to third person. So I'm now out of my body, looking down on myself, and the 3 grays are like coming to touch me. And then everything goes black, and then I wake up and I'm on a metal tray in this dark room. The 3 grays are at by the side or whatever, and it's first person again. And they had all these different instruments, and one of them touches me with like a wand or something, and then I'm back to third person where I can see everything, and then I black out again, and then I'm back in my room. And it wouldn't be so weird if it was just a dream. However, it's one of those things where it's like, even to this day, I still remember it very vividly.
Wow.
So yeah, it's quite a weird experience, and it was all under the concept of, like, you know how you kind of feel in a dream, you kind of feel fluffy, or you feel a different way, where it was like all of my senses were kind of about me, which was really weird.
That's insane, man.
Yeah, and so and then I'll kind of just fast forward. So a couple of years ago, I was working as an intern at a car company, and I was giving people rides. And I had this one guy, he was in the military, and I thanked him for his service and things like that, and he needed a ride back to his house. So they had me give him a ride back, and we were talking about this, that, and the other, and I think it was around the time where one major news source came out with saying, hey, UFOs are a thing, and, we don't know what they are, kind of thing. And we kind of got talking about that a little bit, and he said, hey, I used to work, in some department or something in the military. Not only are they real, but they are in the government and in the military, and they're doing experiments, and we're letting them do experiments on people, and both of us are benefiting from the knowledge that they're getting from it. Now, granted, you just running into normal people, everyday people, you take things with a grain of salt. But I thought that was an interesting idea, though, nonetheless.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, he was saying how there's secret sectors and things like that. So I kind of ran with that idea, and I came up with different stories and things like that. Do you think that it's gotten to that level?
I have no idea, man.
No, I know. I'm throwing a lot at you there. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's crazy. Well, let me ask you. I said the last question, but one more thing. So whenever I go camping, I don't talk about skinwalkers, and I don't talk about like things along those lines, just because that's something I legitimately think is real. Is there a subject out there that you don't even mess with because that's something that you're worried about?
No, not really. To be perfectly honest, no. It's the thing that scares me the most in real life is definitely people. So
Yeah.
the thought of a serial killer or a rapist or somebody like that, though, that's what scares me. Things like ghosts and Bigfoot and things like that don't, because I just don't. I'm not sure if they're real. It's. But I know that serial killers and bad people are real. So, as far as trying not to talk about other certain things, not really, to be honest.
Okay.
You know.
All right. Well, I think you touched on it. Well, you're definitely braver than me, that's for sure. And I'm right there with you. With people are definitely something that I'm constantly worried about. But I think you're right though, for sure. Well, awesome. Being scared. Not only did you show up, but you delivered more than I thought you would. Super awesome to be able to kind of meet you in terms of not in real life, but over the internet. I really appreciate your time. That awesome info. I feel like I got to know so much more about you, your app, your channel, which makes me love your channel all the more. Hello? Did we lose you?
Yeah, you still there?
Oh yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, you kind of cut out there for a second.
Oh shoot. Yeah, I was just saying. Thanks so much for coming on. I feel like we got to know a lot more. Not that we don't know a lot about you, but just hearing about the cool things with WatchMojo and all the different things with your app and things like that. I just appreciate you sharing that information and coming on here and spending some of your time with us. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, of course, man. Like, I really appreciate the invitation. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I thank you for having me.
Well, hey, like I said, I think you're great. I think your channel is great. I think your app is amazing. Is there anything else that we should look forward to in the near future with any of that stuff?
Yeah, I have a couple things that are happening, but they're kind of a surprise at the moment. They're just kind of being kept under wraps. But yeah, you can definitely look forward to more things.
Okay, all right, you heard it from the source. A lot of fun things coming soon. Under wraps at the moment. A little surprise for us. Awesome. Well, hey, thank you so much. I'm gonna let you go. Have a great evening and have an even better Halloween. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you too. Thank you for having me. Have a good night.
All right, thanks.
Bye-bye.
Right. Wow. I feel like we just got spoiled. That was so awesome being scared on the live stream. How phenomenal. Yeah, I'm lost for words. I feel like I tried to come in with not terribly high expectations, but still I feel like that those were greatly exceeded. I feel like he answered every question perfectly, and we got to know so much more about him and his channel and the app. I'm just super excited to have him on. That was really awesome. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this. Thank you for supporting this channel and supporting all the other channels I've had on here. I'm really blessed to have such a community with just viewers as well as narrators that are willing to take time and to do this kind of stuff. That really means a lot. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying the nights of Hallowstreams. Yeah, I hope you guys have been enjoying them. We have one more Hallowstream, and then that will be the last one for this season. I got Jay Nightmares coming on tomorrow night, so make sure to tune in for that, and that will be a lot of fun. Guys, thank you so much for being a part of this. You guys are phenomenal, and I hope you guys all have a very spooky Halloween. Thank you guys for coming on, and I will see you guys in the next stream tomorrow. Have a great evening.